Welcome to the Democqua Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Doug Stewart, and I serve as a worship associate in this kind, caring, and compassionate community of seekers. I'll be joined by worship associate Janet Gillette, who is also our church administrator, and Clay Roper. So thanks to them for engaging in this Sunday. I use the pronouns he, him, and his. We are people who are intentionally inclusive and believe all people are worthy of love. All are welcome here. And you can bring your whole self, we like to think, that you can bring your wonderings and your doubts along with your beliefs and your non-beliefs. All are welcome here. Do we have any visitors here for the first or second time? Is anybody just checking us out? Any claims to that? Katie, anybody on Zoom checking us out? There is somebody? Oh, good. Okay. But anybody, any visitors? Okay. George, okay, welcome. Thanks for joining us. And I believe you are a visitor too. Awesome. Thank you for being here. That's great. Thank you. Well, and we have welcome forms in the back, and we'll get you on our email list if you want to fill one of those out and just send out announcements to you. And I hope you can come back and find a spiritual home here, a place to belong. That's actually our theme today, finding ways to belong. And so hopefully you'll find that thread throughout our service. This service is going to be recorded and posted to our website. And so Katie Fox and Bill Rosequist and Alice Kane are serving as our technical hosts, as our sound and Zoom department today. So much thanks to them. And now Clay will begin our service with a chalice lighting.
Good morning. Our chalice lighting is adapted from words by Janet Parsons. The flame of our chalice this morning is a symbol of the warmth and brightness of our connections. The flame lights our way back together once again from our separate summer lives, and it lights our way forward into this community of promise and renewal.
And if you'll join me in saying our congregational affirmation, it should be printed in your order of service. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
So 24 years ago, I just got into Unitarian Universalist music, and this next hymn was on the docket. I was about to play it, and someone from the choir loft quite literally shouted, "It's the UU football fight song." And I was like, "You guys have a team?" I had no idea what they were talking about. But she's, of course, speaking about the music, because you can just hear the tuba. Boom, 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 boom. So as we gather in belonging, in the spirit of belonging, I invite you to rise in body and spirit as we sing Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Number 361.
Go, go, go. Rejoice and come in. Rejoice and come in. Today will be a joyful day. Rejoice and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today. Rejoice and come in.
Thank you. I don't know if we have any little ones today that would be comfortable in coming forward, but you're welcome to. We have a little story. And anybody who's young at heart, not everybody please, but can feel free to come forward too. This is a little spot of belonging. So our theme today is on belonging. And here's a little spot of belonging. So do you want to sit back there? That's fine. I'll hold it up high. You can see it from there. So there's a little spot here. I'm talking to some people. We don't quite know what the little spot is, but the little spot is saying, hi, I'm a little spot of belonging. Belonging is a feeling you get when you have a great friend, when you are part of a group, or when you are part of a community that supports you. It's also a feeling of confidence and loving who you are. It's belonging. Every human on this planet wants to feel like they belong, and we all have the power to help each other feel that way. So here's the little spot and a couple of astronauts and the Earth down below. You might feel like you belong somewhere, like a family or a club, a band, a team, or a school, or maybe even a church community. There are so many places where you can find you belong. When you belong, you feel valued, safe, calm, and accepted. These are amazing feelings. Did you know you can help others feel like they belong too? You can do this by showing kindness. It's easy to show kindness. For example, you could ask someone to play. You could invite someone to a party, if they're extroverts. You could share your things. You could lend a hand when someone needs help. I'm here to help everyone feel, as a spot talking, I'm here to help everyone feel like they belong, because when you feel like you don't belong, you can feel lonely. You can feel scared, and you can even feel angry. So then there's a bunch of spots and a person looking dejected, and it says not belonging is when you feel left out or excluded. It's a feeling you get when you think that other kids don't like you. That's why belonging needs to start with you first. And it's important to like yourself, believe in yourself, and care for yourself. So he's kind of crying, looking into a mirror, and Spot is saying, you are amazing. When you start to do that, when you start to like yourself, believe in yourself, and take care of yourself, when you start to do all those things, making friends becomes a lot easier. And he's looking in the mirror, and he's much happier, and he's saying to himself, I am important, I am kind, I am loving, I am brave. Another essential part of belonging is making sure everyone is included. So if you see someone standing alone, ask them to join you. Including others can make things more fun. This person was an extrovert. Including others can make things more fun. It is also a great way to make new friends. Sometimes you might want to belong so badly that when you see a friend making a bad choice, you might feel you need to join in too. So there's another little aspect of belonging here. Instead of joining in, you could say something to stop it. Having the courage, being brave to stand up for what is right is the better choice. So here's one person kind of making fun of another person who's starting to cry, and somebody else is laughing and joining in on the bullying maybe. And he's having this friend of Spot is having enough bravery and courage to say, stop, you're not being kind. And then the person making the joke realizes it and says, oh, we're so sorry. And that's helping the other person feel better. I know we covered a lot, and there's still so much to learn. If we all practice being kind to ourselves and others, one day, everyone in this world will feel like they belong. Now we'll have joys and sorrows.
Time in our Sunday service when we share the concerns and celebrations that are a part of our personal lives. We use a stone to symbolize each sharing and place a stone in this bowl that represents the blessed community of love that is Namakwa. This ritual acknowledges that we join you in your concern and offer comfort as well as celebration. So let's start by noting any life milestones, birthdays, or anniversaries this week. Lenny?
We have an anniversary of 2,
How many years?
46.
46 years. Wow. Nice.
I'm gonna make it platter because our ritual is to put the stone into the blue bowl, and they're all in the blue bowl. So.
Yeah. Oops.
And there's one. All right, so here we go for the anniversary.
That's our little blue bowl home. Okay, blue bowl home. Oh, anyway. Any others? Yeah, no. Okay, fine. Fine. Okay.
My lovely wife is celebrating her birthday this week.
Yay! We can tell you're a cradle robber. Yeah, that's okay. Anybody on Zoom?
So Jordan's mom, Dad, wants to share with us that she got here safely to be with us.
Yay! Yay! That's excellent. Okay. So, do we have any? Would anyone like to share things which we can celebrate with you, or things which we can surround you with our love and concern? Personal things. Yes. Oh, wait. I forgot. Thanks, Clay. We want to hear you.
An ending of a relationship.
Oh, yay. Oh, wait, that could be bad. Is that? Wait, is that a joy or a concern? It's... Okay, we're cool. I was just speaking for myself. I can't. Can you hear me? No.
I'm Jennifer, and I'm celebrating today that I'm connecting with some Peace Corps friends that I've stayed in touch with for the last 40 years. So they're up visiting, and it's just been wonderful to reconnect.
Well, since she was 2, she's known these people. Thank you, Jennifer. And
Now I'll add, if there's nobody else.
I'd just like you to keep Nathan in your thoughts. He's not doing so well right now.
oh, love to Nathan. Huggy.
I'm celebrating 3 years. Before I moved here, I was living in Southwest Florida and very active in my community, and I got very sick with 2 kinds of cancer. And they did a GoFundMe page. The whole community raised enough money so that I could go and get a special life-saving treatment, and I'm alive. 3 years later, I'm still here. So sorry to be a baby, but I'm really jazzed. Thank you.
We're so glad. And that's Tam, in case anybody didn't know, our little star.
Now I'll add 2 more stones for the joys and sorrows beyond these walls.
So blessed to have Ryan. Aren't we? That's beautiful. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, good morning, first. From 1996 to 2005, my then husband, Michael, and I ran a gang intervention and leadership program just south of Los Angeles in Long Beach, California. I've got a lot of stories to tell about that. Talk to you later. He got the inspiration from his work in the Coast Guard. He was a special agent, and his first several cases involved kids in their late teens committing petty crimes that, because they were in the service, they were automatically felonies. He felt powerless to prevent these little knuckleheads from ruining their lives. His job was to send them to federal prison. He'd ask them why they did what they did. And the reply was always along the lines of, well, there's nothing else to do on a Friday night. So he goes to Paula Ferris, our pastor at the First United Methodist Church in Long Beach, and proposed that we offer some sort of a program on Friday nights, something to keep these young adults busy. She suggested we visit the current youth program and see how it functioned. And she figured that maybe we could get these little baby coasties to help out with that. And that would be a start anyway, give them something to do. So we ended up taking over the youth program. Long story. And asked the kids what they wanted. There were 5 teens and tweens, and they wanted to do group activities. They wanted to play volleyball and take field trips. We told them we need more kids for that. So they'd have to recruit friends to come. Well, the next week, one of the girls brought 5 friends, a breakdancing crew. And then we need another breakdancing crew to battle. So then we had 10. Then we had 15, then we had 20. We ended up with anywhere from 10 to 300 kids on a Friday night. And by kids, I mean kids from 4 years old to 34 years old. They were the OGs. The participants were mostly gang members or wannabes. I think they all were. They named the program 4 Elements, after the 4 elements of hip hop: music, dance, art, and word, spoken and written. Our focus obviously changed. Now, so I'm going to tell you one of the stories, one of the many stories that I have about these gangs in the 4 Elements program. So I need to explain a few things first. None of them are UUs. They don't think like UUs. Like it or not, gang membership is based basically on ethnicity and ability. Bloods are African American. The Crips were started when one of the Bloods got injured and ended up in a wheelchair. So he was not allowed back in the gang. So that's the Crips, crippled kid. Gangs are Caucasian, Hispanic, Asian, Black, Korean. The list goes on. Gangs are not integrated. The reason for this is that whenever there's a diaspora, a mass immigration, the new arrivals feel discriminated against, used and abused, often with good reason. So they draw the circle tightly around themselves and bind together for protection. The most famous of these, of course, is the Italian mafia. The Irish and the Chinese were brought over as slaves, as were the Africans. It's no wonder they formed protective communities. The problem, of course, is that gang members universally feel that the best defense is good offense. So we're working with first and second generation immigrants who are fiercely loyal to people who shared their heritage. We had mostly Hispanics, with a few African Americans, Caucasians, a few others sprinkled in here and there. The church was in neutral territory at the convergence of 4 local gang territories. The property was configured like a large rectangle with a courtyard right in the middle and a high wrought iron gate leading to it. Straight through the courtyard in the middle was a huge hall where we held the program. It was like a basketball court with these great wooden floors, perfect for spinning around on your head. While on the property, the participants were to follow simple rules: no drugs, no smoking, no alcohol, no fighting or bleeding, and no gang colors or signs. They were to treat the property and everyone there with respect, and they almost always followed these rules. Sometimes I wondered what we were teaching them about faith, but I realize now that we had formed a covenant and our own unique culture. Meanwhile, Michael retired from the Coast Guard in 2000 and became the youth pastor and assistant to the senior pastor. We began volunteering with the City of Long Beach, the police department, the National Conference for Community and Justice, among others. A lot of stories about that too. But through those contacts, he began accepting youth to perform community service at the church. At one point, 3 young Cambodian gang members found themselves in trouble with the law. Michael agreed to supervise them. They would work at the church all week. Then on Friday nights, they'd help out with 4 Elements, and they'd watch the break dancers and enjoy the music and activities. They came to like it. So one particular Friday night, we learned about community and belonging in a most bizarre way. The Cambodian boys came out the front door of the education wing, going towards the gate and courtyard, when a car with 6 Hispanic gang members, not affiliated with 4 Elements, slowly drove by and shouted obscenities at them. They responded in kind, and the Hispanics flipped an illegal U-turn, jumped out of the car, and came after the Cambodians. What the Hispanic gang members didn't know was that there was an unmarked police car right behind them calling for backup. But what happened next was a miracle. The Cambodians ran into the courtyard with the Hispanics in hot pursuit and 7 police officers right behind them. As Michael stood in the middle of the courtyard, the Cambodians ran behind him. The police tackled the Hispanics gang members and arrested them, then turned their attention to the Cambodians, whom they recognized as gang members. At that moment, about 200 mostly Hispanic breakdancers ran out of the hall. We all held our breath. What would happen? What would our 4 Elements Hispanics do? They drew the Cambodians in and told the police, leave them alone. They're fine. They belong with us. Now, the experts will tell you that historically, youth are drawn to gangs because they increase a sense of self-worth and acceptance in individuals and hold out promises of higher status and personal protection. Gang affiliation can provide the status and the peer acceptance that are important in adolescent development that is otherwise unavailable to at-risk youth. So I see now that's exactly what we provided, a new way to belong. We increased their sense of self-worth and acceptance. We provided a safe place. We respected their culture, their music, their art, dance, and words. We projected positivity where they usually experience negativity. We loved them. Now, as a mother, I learned that the promise of reward worked a lot better than the threat of punishment. And I think that law enforcement and others seeking successful gang prevention should pay attention to that. These kids expected to go to prison. They expected to die before they reached 21. Anything we could do to change those expectations is a win-win outcome. So let us spread love. Let us both offer and accept new ways to belong. May it be so. Conduct our offering.
Thank you for sharing with us. Now we'll collect our offering. As part of walking our talk, half of this quarter's plate collections will be shared with the local nonprofit our social action ministry has chosen, the Thompson Education Foundation, which provides school supplies, aids homeless students, and provides scholarships to Thompson School District students. Please be generous as we listen to Ryan play What Wondrous Love. And please join me as we dedicate our offerings. See if I can read this right. Sorry. There we go. We dedicate ourselves and these our offerings to the vision of this congregation, which is to radiate love, peace, and justice. As together, we work to create beloved community.
Thanks, Clay. I remember the first time I walked through the doors of a Unitarian Universalist church. I was in my late 20s. For years and years before, I'd been on a solitary spiritual journey, although I wouldn't have used those words at that time. Back then, pre-UU, every so often I'd take a life inventory. Physical exercise, yeah, I'm running, going to the gym. Mentally active, challenging job and reading. Social life, yes, friends and dating. Spirituality, I'm not sure. What is spirituality anyway? But clearly I wasn't doing anything to encourage that. Actually, I was, but I didn't know it, at least not under the name of spiritual. Way back in 6th grade, I checked out of the Methodist religion in which I had been raised and decided instead on a different direction. Exploring caring seemed pretty safe to me. Through the years, I'd continued to follow that thread. In my terms today, that's been my spiritual journey, to explore caring. But back before I first walked through those Unitarian Universalist doors, I was doing it all on my own. All on my own, that is, except for a couple of books. It may not surprise some of you that I found a co-traveler and author, Robert Persig's Zen in the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I've quoted him just a few times. His deepest value was quality rather than my caring, but identified with his quest, with his exploration. I found inspiration in other books too, but I had no live people with whom to create, with whom to relate, no community to belong with. Not that I felt lonely, I had good friends, but in my spiritual or ethical journey, if you'll let me use that term, I was all on my own. Every once in a while, I decided to do something about that. The best thing I knew to try was to church shop. I'd walk through the doors of one congregation or another, usually a Christian one, although not always, and find friendly, well-intentioned people reaching out to the new visitor and espousing a dogma. Answers they had that I couldn't buy into, that didn't feel me. Clearly, I didn't belong there. Until I walked through those UU church doors. What I'd read about Unitarian Universalism made me wonder, Unitarian Universalists have no dogma? How does that work? Yet in the first service, I resonated with everything. If I could have created a denomination, this might well have been it. People respecting one another's search for meaning and honoring what each other had found so far. Not a dogmatic destination with answers laid out, but the journey toward unfolding ever deepening truth and meaning and compassion, caring about one another's process. Caring. Could I belong here? Had I found my people? Had I found a grounding, a home, a movement? Now, I have a lot of momentum in my outlook on life. My wife can turn on a dime, and any plan is just the best she's thought up with up until now, and it's just waiting for the next improvement. I, on the other hand, like to know where I'm going and what time we're going to get there. I sometimes find my our plan has been updated without my catching on, which can make things exciting when we're working towards different ends. It takes me a while to change directions, especially life directions. The before was when I was on my own, and I was used to that. When I didn't belong. That's not all bad. I was used to being on my own. There's a lot of freedom in being alone. I could do what I want. Intellectually, what I wanted to do was maximize caring. And I'd like to think I found ways to do so. But looking back, I found I had few attachments, few commitments. There are advantages to not belonging. You can try out a lot of things lightly. But now maybe I've walked through those Unitarian Universalist doors and I may have found my people and the possibilities of a whole new world opened up. How do we do this together? And what is this community flying along, reshaping its wings and its course as it goes? How do I engage with these like-minded, like-hearted people? In a way, my journey reflected the journey of Western civilization. One way of looking at the course of Western civilization is from the perspective of rights, to follow the development of rights from the, say, Stone Age's might makes right, through Roman and then feudal times, to the more recent developments of individual rights and freedoms. The liberties captured it in our Constitution, for example, and still being tussled over in today's politics. Liberty, rights, and personal freedom continue to dominate much of our political discourse, rather than how we can equitably share society's abundance. Like that societal advancement, I had shed the shackles of the religion of my upbringing to become a free spirit. But over time then, the key question for me had become, free to do what? After walking through those UU doors, I realized I may have found something worth belonging to, worth binding myself to. The word religion, the word itself, comes from the Latin religare, which means to bind back. In Unitarian Universalism, I had found a community of seekers to bind myself back to, not only aligned with my path, but one that could deepen and broaden it. Had I found that? Over the course of years and a career with moves that took me to a couple of different Unitarian Universalist congregations, I increased my feel for beloved community, to sense its needs and how I might contribute towards building it in my own way. And in doing so, grow myself in the journey too. I started by going to Sunday services, but also by attending one or two adult enrichment workshops and courses. There, I found a resonance not only with the material, but with the sharing of hearts. Over time, I would come to use my freedom as a stepping stone to choose attachments that relating requires, stepping beyond freedom into belonging. Giving back by teaching children's RE for a Sunday, for instance. It's all a balance, of course. I still want my freedoms in life, but I'm realizing more and more to put those freedoms to use, forming and balancing attachments. Whether they're the mild attachments involved in cooking a good meal, you have to watch the pot so it doesn't boil over, you're attached to it, to the profound attachments I have with my family. This balance of attachments includes having good personal boundaries and putting my own oxygen mask on first. Like the spot in our children's reading said, belonging needs to start with you first. Liking yourself, believing in yourself and taking care of yourself. But if I am to come from abundance, I need to look for opportunities to nudge more worth into life beyond my own. for me to nudge more caring into life, to go beyond personal freedom to choosing to make a difference. Doing so is a way for me to belong to the world, to my time, to not only be Rumi's wanderer and lover of leaving, but to gain a sense of home. Come, yet again, come into beloved community, into the beloved community we try to build here together. I hope our doors open to serve you on your spiritual or ethical journey too. And each time you walk through them, here you find a home where you belong. May it be so. And now I invite you to stand as you are willing and able and sing number 360, Here We Have Gathered.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, nor the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
Thank you all for being here today. We have a few announcements. I'll start with mentioning next Sunday. Next Sunday is our big coming back time. And so we're going to have kind of a full half-ish day of events. These include a workshop that Janet is putting on at 9 o'clock in the morning. And if I can find my notes, oh, here they are. It's on connecting with your higher self. So that's at 9 o'clock next Sunday. 10 o'clock will be worship as usual. It's going to be our water ceremony. So bring water that you have either gathered over the summer that represents water from places you have traveled, and we'll all add those to a common bowl, and that will become our rendition of holy water. And let's see, immediately after the service, we're going to have a ministry fair. And so that's where each of the ministries like pastoral care or adult enrichment, worship, we'll each have a little table and you can go around and just sort of see what each ministry is up to, ask questions, provide suggestions, and they can twist your arm into joining too. So that happens at 11. And then there'll be a light lunch provided. And then at noon, we're going to clear the pews to the side and we're going to have square dancing with a professional caller. So next Sunday is going to be a big deal. Let's see. We have a lost and found that's in the back. I think it's been cleaned out very recently, but if you lose something, you go home and you find out that you may have lost something, that's the place to check when you come back. We have a intern minister, Claire Hamor, Dr. Claire Hamor, and he provides pastoral care counseling along with other services offered by our pastoral care ministry. And so if anybody is wanting counseling or touch base with Claire, you can contact him through email or see the weekly email blast and make an appointment with him. The choir has started back, and so anybody interested in joining that can see Ryan. Well, say again? Thursday nights and stuff. Okay, Wednesday nights. Caitlin is in the market for a co-chair of community building. So community building does our fun stuff, like fun and fellowship and the meditation group. So if you would like to have an interest in co-chairing with Caitlin, she'd be happy to connect up with you. We have many adult enrichment offerings that are in the weekly email blast. I think they're also referenced in the monthly newsletter. One of those is Herb Orrell is starting a group, Good Without God, and to explore non-belief, welcome to atheists, agnostics, and those just wanting to have a good discussion. So that's going to first meet. He's trying for Monday, the 12th. So not tomorrow, but a week from tomorrow, if I've got that right, at 6 p.m. So see Herb if you or contact him if you're interested in that. We have meditation that following Wednesday. So not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday meets Wednesday, the 14th at 10 o'clock in the morning. I think that's it for announcements. Did I miss anything? Good. Go now in peace. Thank you for coming this day. Have a wonderful Labor Day holiday. Oh, thank you.